Hi, and welcome to the show where a lot of shit we do is made up and points don't really matter, even though that's probably a thing that's from somewhere else.
In 5D. And I should also mention this will be our last one, as we're now going to be sued into oblivion.
Yay! Sued to oblivion.
Oblivion!
That's the new name of the show, by the way, guys. We're no longer the 5D podcast.
We're the Sued into Oblivion podcast.
Yeah, we have to diversify our assets and hide everything in a Swiss bank account now before we get sued. And half of you guys just got extremely confused.
That's right.
Right, exactly. That is how it went. So, how are you guys doing today?
I'm awake and alive.
That's about where I'm at, too. Woo!
I'm doing okay. I got this fancy haircut that I got by an Asian man in Chinatown.
Wait, fancy?
Oh, I know. Check this out. He decided that I needed to look a lot more army than I thought I would. Look at this. Look at this thing.
Oh, man, you do have that army thing going on.
I got that G.I. Joe thing. Dude didn't even know I was in the army. He just looked at me and went, I'm giving you that haircut.
So you're telling me your barber decided, just based entirely off of your stance, how you look, how you talk, that you needed to have that haircut?
He's not even my barber. It was Memorial Day because dumbass me forgot that I had to get a haircut for the army thing I had going yesterday. So I showed up, and I guess he was being extra patriotic that day, and I got this haircut. Hey, the best part, though, is I get into the army base, and I get compliments from the other sergeants like, "You're looking nice and clean." I'm like, dude, I haven't had this haircut since basic. It's not sticking around.
Honestly, though, I was really waiting for you to be like, he got fancy and turn your head, and he's carved like flash into the side of your head or something.
It's like
that'd be awesome.
Or something, or
yeah.
You know what
it's a Chinese symbol that means love or something.
I'd have like an N7 up here. No, it's a Chinese symbol that means we suck your dick.
Yeah, it means Peking duck.
It means love. That's exactly what it is. Alright, for anybody of you guys who are new to the show, my name is Steven, also known as Figbird. With me is Devin Bonsai
Barker.
I was going to say
161.
Doing that.
There's more to that name. I mean, it's on the screen. It's right here. That's what it says.
Obviously, that's him. He's talking. And also with me again is Eduardo, Archangel of Light, Rivera.
Hi.
No.
I'm not sorry.
So, I have to say that I looked at the news for this week, and there wasn't much in the world of video games I was much interested to talk about.
Yeah, it's been slow.
It's been a really fucking slow week, and I'm surprised about that.
There was one game thing that happened that I guess you could talk about really quick.
Yeah?
You played one yesterday. What'd you think?
That's right. No, that is true. I can give a slight review over a game. Holy shit, thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
So yesterday, Magicka 2 came out. That's
saved everything.
And I know, you saved my life, dude.
Fucking welcome, bro.
Now kiss.
That's right.
Alright, Magicka 2, tell us all about it.
Magicka 2, so it's obviously the sequel to Magicka. Who would have thought?
No!
It's a game by Paradox, right? It's by Paradox Interactive. I don't know if they're also I know that they're the publisher. I don't know if they're also the studio. I didn't check that, and I'm not going to say that they are and not know it, but they're the publisher at the very least. The game is basically a 1-to-4 wizard co-op-ish kind of game, where basically you have, I think it's 8 elements that you can mix and match kind of randomly as you choose, I think up to 6 of them, and however you combine them and how you decide to cast, whether you do like to your sword or laser or whatever, other effects.
Laser!
Yes, you're a wizard with a sword and a staff and spelly powers. But the game is
spelly powers. Dog D O G.
So the game has.
I have smelly powers.
I've fucking been around them. It's horrible. There were losses, man.
They rival my own.
Jimmy never came out again. I never saw Jimmy again.
Anyways, so the game has a lot of customization with how you play because you can do so many different spells and things like that, but it's also laced with satire and jokes. Like, every other second is like
okay.
One example.
I heard laced and got nervous.
The whole game makes you be on acid.
It's a game laced with drugs. Don't ask me how that works, but it's a game laced with drugs. But one example of the satire is that, like, in a frosted area, like, the first thing you run into is this character, and he's sitting next to this wooden wolf that's white, and his name was John Frost. And, like, he makes some comments about that. And there's
Eduardo does not get that comment.
No idea.
It's a Game of Thrones thing.
Yes.
There's also, the entirety of the game, there's this character named Vlad, who's very clearly sucking blood and being all mysterious, who says every time that it needs to come up that he is not a vampire. He's absolutely not a vampire. And in the first game, and I know it's kind of a spoiler, so spoiler hand, you don't want to know a first game spoiler hand for that. In the first game, there's actually a scene where he says, "And now to tell you the most disturbing news of all, I am a vampire." And it's like one of the greatest moments of the entire first game. And so it's kind of a thing. So there we go.
Spoiler hand down!
I know, right? It's down. Because we're getting
That
down.
quiet point was him dancing for everyone listening to us on iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't run out of ideas.
Not even sorry.
So they get to see some random ridiculousness. But I will say the gameplay updates are actually really cool. Some of the better things that I've seen. There's a few like visual things that help keep you aware of what's going on. Because in the original, it was really hard to tell if like you were wet or on fire or something, unless you were looking at your character really explicitly.
I'll always let
Now
you know if I'm wet, baby.
Character descriptor thing has like an effect that goes around it, so you can tell. Not only that, but they've also added like 4 quick skills. So instead of having to memorize all the spells you want to use a lot, because there's certain spells that are special, and you type in their combination and press space to cast them. But now instead you can just press a button, and that's a particularly cool thing that they added with the game that I think is really worth it. Besides that, I mean, we played I think 4-ish chapters yesterday, and from what I experienced, really solid game. Definitely recommend it for anybody who's looking for satire, especially if you got a friend, because the game is 100% better with a friend, because there's friendly fire. So
it's 100% better because you can fuck that guy.
So yeah, it's part of it. It's great.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's the game.
that's the game. Them's the breaks, kids.
That's the breaks of Magicka 2.
All right, so talking about games, I actually wanted to bring up a game that's on Kickstarter right now that I thought was really interesting.
Uh-oh.
So, I haven't played it. I've just read up on it, and I will personally be kickstarting it, but I'm not saying y'all should. But it's called Perception. And the protagonist is actually a blind person. So the game mechanics are different, where they almost have like the Daredevil kind of echolocation. So it's about this blind person, it's a female, I believe, goes into a house trying to figure out what's going on in this mansion, and anytime like the wind goes through a crack or there's anything audible, she can see kind of the echolocation from it. But that doesn't mean that she can see everything. So she also carries around this cane that she can tap to see things.
Right.
But there's a monster or something in the house that also follows sound. So if you use it too much, it will find you. So what she
And it will
needs,
cut you.
yeah, it will do something. It's gonna eat you.
Right.
But what she does, what you have to do so far, what they've talked about is that like you'd set up like audio bombs all over the place. I set off audio bombs all the time.
Boom.
Boom. But
Bam!
To draw the presence, I think is what they're calling it, away. I thought it was really, really interesting. And so I think another kind of indie game that would be pretty good. It's from a well-known studio, though I can't recall at the moment. Well, sorry, they were a well-known studio, and then the developers split apart from it. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be good.
Yeah, I heard a bit about it, and I was definitely interested in seeing what it's going to, be able to, what it's capable of showing, especially because, like, the idea of a horror game where you don't have one of your key abilities to, see what's around you, literally, it's kind of a cool thing. And there's been some other games like that I've heard of in the past. There was an iOS game, I believe, on most specifically iPads, that was about interacting with, I guess, like an aliens on the ship, and you can't actually see much of what's going on, and it's kind of like a thing like that. So there's been some games that have sort of experienced or oriented around that, but to see like a game, especially from developers, because I also noticed that they were relatively well known in their X part of their job.
Well put.
Right, exactly. My enunciation and eloquence, always the greatest. But the fact of the matter is that they were well-known studio putting together a game, and I'm pretty happy to see something like that. So we'll see.
So I think this would be really interesting on an Oculus Rift.
Right. Some people in the chat actually are mentioning Oculus Rift support might be coming in, and I think that wouldn't be a surprise to me.
But that would be fantastic. And I actually, when I first saw the headline, survival horror from the perspective of a blind person, I thought that it was going to be a lot more oriented like that, where it was more tactile, right? Where you had like, I don't know, like a board that would just kind of bumps and that kind of stuff. Because you guys have seen the little kid's toy that just has like all the pins, and you put it, and your face comes up
Yes.
as a bump.
Don't
on the
tell me
other
what
side,
I've seen.
right? You've seen it. But something like that, where you have a force feedback and you're running around like a blind person. That's what I originally envisioned. This is also cool, but for some reason I thought, I'm like, that would be creepy as hell, because all you go is by sounds, and you're just doing this kind of touchy-feely thing. I think that would be creepy as hell.
I'll be honest, when I actually did see this article, but when I first saw it, I thought they were talking about a movie, not a game. And I was like, a scary movie from the perspective of a blind person? Get fucked.
Right.
That
That'd be a
sounds
pretty fun movie, right?
awful.
Devin, that's called radio.
My thoughts exactly.
And this isn't the 1950s or whatnot.
These were all my problems. Again, was offended by, not
Right.
excited by.
So continuing on the kind of the indie developer, did you guys see the newest Humble Bundle?
I did.
The Humble itself? No, I haven't. I did see the book bundle, though.
So the Humble
The
Bundle,
Nindy bundle? We actually just bought it.
it's the Nindy Bundle. It's
Just bought
indie
it.
games for Nintendo platform. So
right.
I'll just name off the ones that they've got. They've got.
I can literally see Steven buying it right now.
I'm actually opening the game right now, and if it's what I think it is, I might just buy it.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of DS and Wii U downloads.
Yeah, they've got
Oh, but the
Guacamelee.
problem is if they're DS and Wii U downloads, they're literally useless to me.
Yeah, they're 3DS and Wii U.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I don't have a
Guacamelee.
3DS.
Yeah.
Whoa, Dave for the 3DS. Guacamelee's just for the Wii U. Mighty Switch Force for the 3DS.
That was
Stealth
one of the
2
ones
for
that
the
Brooke
Wii U.
wanted.
Steam World Dig for Wii
That
U
was
and
the other
3DS. The Fall for Wii U. Ollie Ollie, which I've never heard of, for
I've heard
Wii U and 3DS. And Moon Chronicles for 3DS. And as always, it's a Humble Bundle, so they'll be adding more stuff as we go along. So the closer it gets, right now the minimum is like at $9 because everybody's been buying it. Usually the minimum is like $5 or so.
Right.
Sorry, the minimum to get all of the games, even the advanced games. But yeah,
So,
I thought this was pretty interesting.
for the record,
yeah,
there's
it's
another
kind of cool
Humble
to
Bundle.
see a Humble Bundle that's not just normal games, especially for indie games like that. It's interesting that it's specific to those platforms, because I know a couple of those games are not on just those platforms, if I understand. At least I thought that there were. So I think
Yes,
Steam World Dig, for example, is not just a Wii game, as far as I know.
No, but this was a specific Nintendo platform indie
Right.
games Humble Bundle. Devin, you were going to say something?
There's another Humble Bundle. It's even better.
Do you have the books bundle?
Yeah, right now Humble
Yeah,
is doing an
what is that?
IDW books bundle, and I think you only have to spend $10 or $15, and you can get all of Lock and Key, all of it, all 6 volumes.
It's gone up since this.
Oh, has it?
It's actually up to
So
almost
it's-
$20.
It's
But I
$50.
still have to.
Oh, no, you're right. It is $20.
No, it's a $20 thing. If you buy it with the $20 price, you get the entirety of Lock and Key, which is a comic we've talked about on the cast before.
It's fantastic.
And I highly recommend this thing. It's really good.
Not to mention
I actually
$20. You get more than that for $20, and for the record, for all 6 of those volumes, I spent $120 to get all of
Exactly.
mine. So you can get them all for $20.
Yep. Highly recommend that one. If you guys are interested at all with the Lock and Key, which we talked about before, definitely.
If you like horror, if you like Stephen King, if you like Stephen King's Kid, you will like Lock and Key.
Yeah,
This
these are
is-
really good
This
things.
is me getting it right now.
Sadly, for the rest of the bundle, I actually don't know anything on there except for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and it's only Volume 3, so I
So-
can't speak for anything else in the volume,
Actually-
but you get your value out of Lock and Key alone.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up, though. So League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, they're
Yep.
trying to make a movie again.
They're doing a reboot. Well,
Uh,
they were going to do a TV show,
Yes.
but then Penny Dreadful started on HBO? AMC?
I don't know.
Penny Dreadful, new show, started last season on all these, and they went, that's a little too close to the show we were trying to make. And so they're going to go for a movie.
So what
Okay.
kind of sucks, though, is that the last movie wasn't bad. It was kind of lackluster.
But if you read the comic, it was horrible.
Okay, fair enough. I did not read the comic until after I watched the movie.
So in the comic, Quartermain's a drug addict. Mia Harkness, whatever the fuck her name is, the vampire girl.
it's
She's
Harkness.
not like a B character teammate. She's actually the team leader. She runs the team. And Oh, who the fuck was the little American kid they added in?
Tom Sawyer wasn't in it.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer was not a character. He was just there to appeal to the Americans.
And actually, neither was Dorian Gray.
Yeah, actually, you're correct. He was not.
Yeah. But I liked the movie. I saw it and I liked it. I thought Sean Connery did well. Well, like, it wasn't like a piece of drivel. Like,
yeah, it wasn't a pile of shit.
Like, a lot of people
wasn't
really
Avatar.
give... I was gonna say, like, the second Underworld, but okay.
The third Underworld.
Oh, I never saw it. I didn't even bother.
Don't.
There was just no point. It's like, oh, it's not the same chick anymore. I don't care. I really just
I was
stuck
done
around
at the
for
second one personally, but that's me, I guess.
I really just stuck around for the spandex. Not even gonna lie, the leather
I like
suit.
it.
Just saying. So yeah, they're gonna try to make another one. Alan Moore is obviously not involved because he doesn't do adaptations anymore.
Yeah.
So that's in the works.
I'll see it.
One
Maybe.
interesting thing that got released this week: arena mode for Evolve.
I heard about this. Were you guys at all... Evolve hurt me so bad, and honestly, at this point, I kind of feel like I have to try anything it throws out just so I can desperately grasp at getting my money's worth.
Look, so I didn't buy it. It is a free DLC or free edition or whatever.
Oh, okay, so I don't have to pay to get it.
No.
Okay.
Here's the basic gist of it. So it's the players get thrown into the game and they're trapped with the monster in a certain area of the map. The monster starts at level 2, but they can level up to level 3 if they
Sorry,
get
guys.
the chance. It's best out of 3, so you have 3 chances, and what it does at the end of each round, it actually shifts you to a different part of the map that you are now trapped in. So it's arena mode, it's just all out, battle it out kind of deal.
That might be better, though, because as much as I loved the idea of what they were going for with the
running
chase...
around killed me.
It was. I don't know if the problem was the map was too big or if the monster had too easy of a time getting around. I'm not sure how to fix it, but it was broken.
Yeah.
There was just something about it where, because half the time we would spend the whole match trying to find him, and the other half of the time he'd just show up and murder us within a couple of minutes. I don't think we ever successfully killed a monster that wasn't glitching. And, like, we're not fucking pro-status gamers, admittedly, but we're not shitty at video games. Like, none of us individually are fucking terrible.
Right, I mean, my issue with the game was just, again, lack of content and things like that.
That, too. When you're running around that often, over and over and over and over...
I mean, to me, I look at that and just go, like, why would you add that mode? Okay, that doesn't do anything for the problems. Like, I look at a campaign that's, like, not stupid or, like...
I will say, it fixes one problem. At least now you're not grinding through chasing, and you can actually just get to some action if that's what you want. So, it is nice. It is another game mode. I kind of don't like the carry-out.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, the way that worked with the game, like, having the hunt there, to me, is important to really bring what the game's about.
Well, that was the
right?
whole point of the game,
So,
right?
if you're taking
But the
that
hunt
out, now
wasn't
you've devolved
working.
your game even further, and it makes me go,
Well,
I don't know, man. I'm done.
So, again, I only played the beta, so I can't really sit on a high horse throughout it, because I played the beta and I was like, I'm just not buying what you're selling. I'm sorry, I didn't have fun.
no, you made the right choice.
Well, but at the end of the day, the reason why we had so much fun during the beta versus the otherwise is that we had the 4-man team most of the time, and the game is way better when you got 4 players that are your buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like every game is that way now, and I wasn't about to drop.
I think that's
$60.
one is a special individual case that I think needs to be spoken of very specifically in that regard, because when your team is entirely your friends, as opposed to just a couple of them your friends, it gets a very different feeling for like that coordination.
So,
aspect.
It really
Whereas,
does.
like, when you're playing, with one friend or whatever, it's still more fun, don't get me wrong, but having the full team as your friends adds a lot more than other games of this type might do. Because you have that really big feeling of, like, I'm with my buddies and we're hunting this thing. And it doesn't matter if you don't see it for days, because you have that really strong coordination going.
Just wasn't my kind of game. And I'll tell you, I'm all for the co-op games and stuff like that. Like, I'm playing Monster Hunter 4 right now on my 3DS. And it gets so hard at certain points that I realize, I'm like, you know what? If I had more hunters with me, this would be better. And I'm okay with that, right? Where it's like, but I can still go and do other things that doesn't require me to get in a room with you guys and be like, or not even in a room, but get on a call with you guys and just do it, right? Which is one of the even like Destiny, it's one of the biggest drawbacks that they don't have matchmaking for all their stuff, because our raid schedules aren't always the same, right? I don't have the time to sit there and get on with, 3, 4, 5 other people at one time. So
Right.
Evolve just wasn't my thing. I'm really glad they're adding more content and that they're not trying to charge up the ass for it, which is really good.
Yeah, the fact that it's free means that I'm not angry at that they did it. It's just like, to me, it's just a choice.
Well, I have to ask though, what other game mode do you see coming out of this game?
I don't. That's the problem I have.
Well, while I was sitting here, I could think of one. So I at least had one more game mode, but outside of that, I couldn't think of anything. Monster on monster battle, dude. Where's the fucking monster on monster throwdown?
It might be worthwhile having 2 hunter teams at each other's throats too.
And you know what?
Like first one to get the kill on the monster. Monster starts at level 3, and they both have to compete for it. Yeah, I like that too. Okay, see, we're developing. Guys, if you want to give us a call, we'll sell you our ideas for a nominal fee.
I mean, honestly, we've already discussed 2 way better things than what's already there. Because at that point, you're also tactically going against another team. Like, there's all these other aspects. It makes the game way more robust, even though you haven't changed much of the core gameplay, right?
Yeah.
Because the core gameplay isn't bad. Like, the core mechanics of everything, like you moving around and dropping your stuff, like when everything's working right, the game's great.
Yeah. I honestly think it would just benefit from a couple of smaller maps.
I don't even think it's more
Not even that.
I think just more objectives that the monster has to handle.
Yeah, that too. The monster has it easy. Listen
Why
to
don't
me.
they
I
throw
suck.
you into a city?
That's
Yeah.
And
So-
you could like blow up a building and drop it on the monster, and vice versa, right? Shit like that would be super cool.
Vice versa.
Sorry,
I said vice versa.
that vice versa is the worst way to say that. Sorry, that one bothers me every time. Had to correct that one. It's vice versa.
Vice versa,
Oh,
not vice
sorry.
versa.
My bad. Yeah, ESL.
Welcome to America, bitch.
Yeah, no, you
Get with the program.
I can just give you all the shit.
But anyway, so talking about free DLC, did you guys see that The Witcher is dropping
I did.
DLC? And
Already?
I didn't know what it was, but I saw they were putting DLC.
they're
out.
dropping free DLC. There are 2 paid expansions planned. They're not released yet, but for the next 2 months, they're dropping free DLC each week. And it's not all like huge content updates. Like some of them is just there was a new vendor. There was also
Right, figured it was something like that.
beards and stuff like that. But they haven't said what it all is gonna be. Easy for me to say. But what I wanted to talk to you guys, do you guys think that this is going to be we're sorry we kind of fucked up with the launch, here, have some free stuff? Or you think this was planned all along?
I'm sure it was planned, but I'm sure it wasn't planned to be free.
It was planned to be free. It was probably planned to be, part of something else they did.
Yeah. Split one in half and give away half of it for free. Now charge double for when you sell the real thing.
Fair enough. So, I like that they're at least doing some free DLC, and it looks like they're going to keep developing more stuff, and they're not at least gouging you for your money just yet, right? Because you've got the other games where it's like, oh, you want a hat? That'll be $1. Things like that. So I think that's nice to see. So my last bit of e-news here is...
Wait, really quick, can I alienate our audience and say, am I the only one who just doesn't get the appeal to fucking Witcher?
I have no intention.
I played like a little bit of the second one and I was like, this shit's fucking ridiculously complex for no payout. Bye.
Yeah, I wasn't really enthralled with the original game, and that's why I haven't really been following it. So I'm kind of in the same boat there.
So I actually bought The Witcher 1 and 2 recently when it was like $4 for the whole thing. For 1 and 2.
I didn't like
I
it.
started playing number 1 and oh my god, I fucking hate it.
So we all don't care for this game. Woo!
Yeah, I just don't get it.
I'm going to try to stick through it for the story because I want to see the story. I hear the gameplay gets way better in 2, but honestly, it like, I'm sitting there and this is how you play. You tap the mouse button to swing, and then at one point there's a prompt that comes up that you tap the mouse button again to swing again for a combo, and you just keep doing that until you get enough combos for when they die. The animation is so horrid that it really looks like I have a sword-shaped nightstick and I'm just beating these people to death, and not in a metal way either, more in a kind of way. So, look, I'm really not into the gameplay. The story so far looks very promising because it's kind of newish, right? The potions and all that. I like how the game from the beginning, you have a difficulty level and it goes, oh, well, this difficulty level just don't bother with the potions. You're not gonna need them. And then this difficulty level, it'd be nice if you use potions. And the last one's like, you're gonna need the fucking potions. But they're all like, the potions, it's an alchemical thing. You have to find recipes, and it's really complex for a game that just goes blah 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 blah.
That was my everything in the second one just felt so overly complex. I think I had to hit because I was doing it on Xbox. I think I had to hit 3 buttons to cast a fucking spell when I first started out, and everything was just so much effort to do anything. This isn't even enjoyable anymore. It really felt like... did you guys ever read the old Mad magazines where they would make fun of PlayStation and Xbox, and they would have the giant controller with 90 buttons and toggles and switches all over it?
That sounds like the Xbox One, or the Xbox original, I mean. Not the Xbox One, but the Xbox...
Yeah, the first one.
Their controller.
It was just big. It wasn't... It didn't have a lot of buttons. No, I'm talking this game needs a MechWarrior controller.
The GameCube controller is actually not that bad. I'm sorry.
It's got that little nipple thing you can flick around. I don't know, man.
Oh no, come on.
It's the same thing as the dual analog sticks.
As great as it is, the N64 controller assumed you had a third hand.
Yes, it did. It literally did. It had
in the shape. There was you're like, is this my cock one? What am I doing? Oh, that fucking thing.
The problem with that is there's also a trigger underneath the middle one. So
yeah, you had to go like this and then switch off and then switch here and then switch...
You know what?
I'm just imagining, you throw the controller in the air and you catch it again so you can switch your other hand so you can press these buttons.
I'm not gonna lie, the N64 controller, coupled with Mario Party gave me more blisters than masturbating. I'm just saying.
I don't think any of us wanted to know that, but okay, good to know.
All right, so
let's go ahead and move along here then, guys.
Move along.
Else, game news related we got?
Not gamer news, but nerd related.
I'll get that in a second. Hold on. Devin, what about you? Anything game-related, since we're on the topic?
Comic stuff this week.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and move on. Go ahead, Eddie.
Alright, so last piece of news. You guys know how a couple years... last year, I think, actually, it was. Marvel canceled the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're taking it even further now. Distancing themselves from that whole genre. Basically, there has been a cease and desist to XM Studios, which is a place that does dioramas and statues and stuff of comic book characters and superheroes. And they're basically no longer allowed to do Fantastic Four or X-Men, which we all know are the two properties that Marvel doesn't own.
There's more than two, but...
Well, I mean, the two big ones. That have been in the news. So it really sounds like anything that they're really not making money off of on a larger scale that they can incorporate into their universe, they're kind of severing the ties very, very slowly and not so subtly. I don't know, thoughts?
That's a douche move, but not a move that I would see as bad for a company. It makes sense.
I disagree. I think it's poor timing coupled with previous bad news. Remember, they've been pulling their licenses from every outside outlet because they're owned by Disney now, and Disney has an outlet for making these things that can make it cheaper. I more than guarantee that the contract on these wore off, and they wanted to finish off their line or something, and Disney stepped in and said, no, we'll be selling all of the Fantastic Four toys now because we're Disney.
Right.
They've done with everything. They took their comics back. They took their books back. Everything is under Disney now. I would be willing to bet that. I'd be willing to bet that they're pulling everything in-house. No, they were doing it with Marvel stuff too. There were obviously not with comics that got pulled out, but novels and stuff. No, that's all being done by the Disney publishing houses and stuff now.
Interesting.
So as the contracts are ending, they are.
Do you think that Fox and Disney or Marvel are going to come to some sort of agreement to get these characters back? Because they're really not advertising for them anymore. They're like, oh yeah, there's this movie coming out, but we're not really doing anything with it. Go fuck yourself.
Sony is the one who's kind of trying to meet a gray area so everyone can win because we fucked up so bad recently, is kind of what they're doing. Fox still thinks they can stand on their own two legs because sadly Wolverine doesn't do poorly and isn't disliked. Deadpool is coming up and has a shit ton of hype, And everybody's excited for this X-Men movie, even though every other X-Men movie has sucked, and like Alzheimer's patients, we keep walking straight into the fucking doorknob.
Right? Every time. It's just like, dunk. Oh, God.
Everybody gives me, you don't know till you see it. And I'm like, normally, yes, but I saw the other, 12 of them or whatever there are now, and none of them have been good. I'm really not even a fan of the Wolverine movies. They're okay. They're not the worst or anything, but the first one's terrible. The second one made a bit of a comeback. It wasn't as fucking, like, mind-numbingly painful, but it wasn't shit. First Class, I like, which kind of hurts to say. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good. And then that Days of Futures Past bullshit. That was bullshit. Oh, that sucked so bad. But they're not without... Sony had to. Sony was failing. Spider-Man was failing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right after they announced, this next movie's going to be the shit, and we have this whole lineup of Spider-Man universe stuff we're going to do.
And then
it sucked, and everybody was like, yeah, how's that other stuff going? And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. Marvel! And so they came in to help, but I don't think Fox needs it.
Actually, it was a lot less of Sony doing that, but Sony Japan going,
yeah.
But we like money.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's what it came down to, too, is, no, we don't want to split profits. And they were like, somebody just said profit. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Lots and lots of monies.
But no, honestly, Fox may need it, in my opinion, but right now they don't think they need it. What you're going to see is Deadpool is going to have to suck, which is going to suck, because I actually really don't want that to suck. The last Wolverine they're doing is going to have to suck. And this X-Men is going to have to suck before they back down.
Does Fox have any other franchise right now that they can bank on?
Comic related?
No, just in general.
I don't know. I don't
like
follow
to
that too
cancel all the
closely.
good stuff, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Who does? Oh, that's Fox Television. We don't talk about Fox Television.
Are the movie studio and the television studios not actually like part of the same?
They're separate divisions of the same thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, because like at that point, you get things like, I know that or at least I heard they're bringing back The Simpsons again because they want to make more of a goddamn world record.
Yeah, I was surprised, like, I think they've said The Simpsons is going to be over, like, 2 years in a row already, at least.
Yeah, I keep hearing that, it never happens.
I don't know.
Okay, so Fox owns Avatar, X-Men, How to Train Your Dragon, Ice Age, Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, which are all pretty big. Night at the Museum, which is pretty big. Taken's done well. They own Prometheus. They own the Alien series. They own Independence Day. They own Die Hard.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to try and make a big run with Fantastic Four. But, we'll see how that goes. Honestly, and then Maze Runner, which actually didn't suck. Like, I'm not really into the whole... Like, Hunger Games is okay, but for the most part, these teeny bopper... book movie things that are happening are mostly shit. My girlfriend made me watch the Maze Runner one, and I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad.
I didn't hate it either. I ended up watching it with my ex. It wasn't bad.
It was all right.
It was better. It was better than a lot of the other movies of the same type. I'll say that.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, and I also haven't seen any of the Divergent series.
The Percy Jackson movies were weak, and I haven't read Percy Jackson, but I read his other one that's about Egypt, because I love the Egyptian gods. And that book's really good, and I can't imagine that Percy Jackson is as bad as those films are.
So... Look, they weren't that bad. They weren't, like, we weren't the target audience. That's the problem.
But for the books, they worked just fine for me, so why the fuck didn't the movie? Because clearly something was done wrong.
The studios don't do the same thing as authors.
But exactly, shouldn't they be? The book was good. Wouldn't you want to sell that thing was good so you can make money?
Yeah, fair, but again, you weren't the target audience.
They don't like money, that's their thing.
I'm starting to think is they want to fail.
I feel like they do want to fail.
Who owns 007? I know it's MGM, but who's under them?
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know that one off the top of my head. I don't follow that much into the movie studios and stuff.
Anyways,
so.
while he's looking that up...
although Albert R... I believe his name is Broccoli. His name's Broccoli. Eon Productions is still owned by their family. So yeah, it looks like Eon is the primary holder, and then the main production house for it.
Who's the distributor?
Your mom?
Helpful.
Oh my god, why can't I not
I just said the truth. She runs a stand in the corner.
Actually, she did that. She sold tamales out of the back of a van at one point.
I'm not surprised. That's kind of why I did I was trying to be
actually,
semi-realistic.
Sony Pictures Entertainment.
It is a Sony thing? Okay.
Oh, so it's Sony, not Fox. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, wait, hold on. No, it might not be.
Oh,
This is just worded poorly.
Shenanigans. We all just
Oh,
see
yeah, no,
real-
it's MGM. You were right. It's MGM and Ion.
It's MGM.
Okay, and who's MGM owned by?
Is
Are they-
MGM owned by?
Yeah, are they still their own thing?
I believe so. They're a competitor of Sony.
I don't know, like I said.
MGM International. Oh, that's a Nevada-based gaming and hospitality center.
That's well, it's because it's the same people. The MGM Grand.
Yeah, no, okay, it was announced that MGM would merge with 20th Century Fox, a plan which never came to fruition. Over the next 30 years, the studio was bought and sold at various points in history until on November 3rd, 2010, MGM filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. MGM emerged from bankruptcy on December 20th, 2010, at which time the executives Spyglass Entertainment, Gary Barber, and Roger Birnbaum became co-chairman and co-CEOs of the holding company of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
Okay, so they're still their own thing. That's good, sort of.
Lion. Brawr!
Yeah,
That was my
Lions.
MGM lion. Brawr!
All right, so on the movie topic, I actually saw a movie this weekend and a
No, you
movie
didn't.
last weekend that I wanted to talk about because it holds a dear place in our hearts. I saw Pitch Perfect 2.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I want to check that one out, actually.
Yeah, apparently we're gonna go see it not this weekend, next weekend.
Okay, so a little backstory
I
for
probably
those
won't see
who
it,
haven't
but, you know.
heard the old episode. A couple episodes back, well, not a couple, a while back.
It was like a year ago. Let's just be
So-
fair here.
I forgot why we decided to punish ourselves, but we decided to punish ourselves. And we decided that all three of us, actually all four of us, when Tyler was still here, to watch Pitch Perfect. And we all thought, we're like, oh, this is going to be horrible. This
I did not
is
think that.
the worst punishment. You
I'd
didn't
heard
even
decent-
want to watch it.
No, I didn't want
Liar.
to watch the other one, Mean Girls or whatever it was.
Yeah,
we also watched that.
No,
that's
Pitch
correct.
Perfect I actually did want to see because of the fact that I knew some of the main cast from Devon who was talking about it before.
That's me! I'm that guy from that story he told!
I know, dude. Yeah, it's a cool story, right, bro?
This is amazing!
But anyways, Pitch Perfect was actually really good. It was
So
really
how was
funny.
2 though? How was 2?
Okay, so 2, they know their audience, honestly.
If you
and-
spoil anything, I will kick you in the
Yeah,
dick
you-
next
no,
time I
no,
see you.
No. If you like the a cappella crowd, if you're one of those people, then they added a lot more for you.
Cool.
All right. If you were into it for just the comedy, there's still some of that in there, but it's not the centerpiece anymore. It is very definitely the a cappella that is now the centerpiece. They added more songs. They added a lot more varied genres too of it. I enjoyed the movie, but then again, you guys know I like that kind of singy kind of stuff.
Right.
So I would recommend you go watch it. They did some comedic things. I'm trying not to spoil it for you guys because I know you guys are gonna watch it.
There were scenes, they
There's
were
a-
funny,
Stuff
and
happened.
the
No,
girls-
Who was that
sang.
one place with that
So-
other dude?
Look, let me put it this way: if you're gonna go see it with your significant other and you want to earn some brownie points, pretend you don't want to and go and enjoy it anyways. Because it's a decent movie. Check it out.
You know, generally, when I don't want to do something and my significant other wants me to do it, I say I'm not going to do it, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how
but
life
then
works.
Devin punches you.
Well,
I've
don't get
never had
punched.
you punch me in one of those circumstances.
But anyway, so I also saw Tomorrowland this weekend.
How was
Yeah,
that?
I've heard vaguely about the existence of
I've
this,
heard
but-
lots of bad things about it.
So here's the thing: I went into it with absolutely no expectations.
That's a
Let
good
me-
way to go to a movie.
Let's frame that first. Mostly because I had no idea what it was about, other than some spacey future thingy.
Yay!
That's
That's my best or my favorite thingy.
That's all I knew. I will admit that there were a couple parts where I felt it got a little creepy, and I'll explain why. So George Clooney plays a character, and they start showing him when he was a kid, and he meets this little girl that's the recruiter for Tomorrowland, whatever.
What is exactly Tomorrowland?
I will get to that.
Okay.
So,
Do we have to keep spoiler hands up?
yeah, spoiler hands up.
All right, guys. For anybody who is not watching this as a video thing, skip like a couple minutes.
Yeah, so here we go. Spoilers. Tomorrowland is a place where, way back in the day, like Jules Verne, Tesla, Edison, they all got together and created this place where there's no government oversight, there's no politics, and scientists and creative people can just create the things that they imagine, right?
I love how you're like trying to keep the hand up while you do your physical gesticulation, and it kind of keeps going down a little bit every time you do this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to shake my hands here. But anyways,
I get it. It's just really funny how like
right,
once
you guys can have your spoiler hands up. All right. But anyways, so it starts with George Clooney as a kid being recruited at the World Fair, and he meets this girl who, big spoiler, dun dun dun, ends up being an android.
Is she hot?
Robot.
Well, and that's just the thing. So she never grows up, but he's like in love with her. And even when they meet up later, as he's an adult, there's some slightly weird scenes in the sense where, like, he's really mad at this girl that broke his heart, but she still looks like a 12-year-old. And at
so
the
from
end,
a scale of 1 to Leon the Professional, where's
not quite that bad because it's still a Disney movie.
okay?
But the point is that there were some scenes where I was just like, the way this is leading, I don't like where it's going. They never take it there, but still, there were some awkward moments in that. You can put your spoiler hand down, and we're back. So
Spoilers over, in case anybody didn't know.
So here's what I really enjoyed the movie as a visual set piece, and not like Avatar where it was just pretty. This actually had a little bit of substance to go along with it, like where the idea was generally good. The problem is that it was so heavy-handed on the environmentalism, the pacifism. Like it wasn't even
They were
even
trying
like
really hard to throw the messages out, and less so telling a story.
exactly. It wasn't
Okay.
even subverted, right? So that was my problem with it. It was really nice to see. George Clooney did great. I forget the name of the actress. She did well as well. And I liked seeing Hugh Laurie as the villain.
Now, did he have an English or an American accent?
He had his British accent,
Yeah.
which was nice to see. But honestly, it really seems like the movie was a really long advertisement for a new ride that they're going to put in Disneyland.
Well, I mean, as far as
Tomorrowland's already a thing.
Disney, yeah, I was gonna say
Really?
already.
Disney World.
Oh, okay.
That's the only
It's
thing
what
I
it-
knew about this movie.
Disney World is made up of 5 completely separate parks, and Tomorrowland is one of them.
Okay, so then I understand why it was really pretty but slightly shallow and really heavy-handed.
This is just like Haunted Museum. They're kind of going through this phase where,
You
like,
mean
if it's
Haunted Mansion?
or Haunted Mansion. They're going through this phase where, like, if it has a ride, it needs a movie. Like, if you remember from Disneyland, the old submarine ride, that's Finding Nemo now. That's been rebranded because they didn't want to make Submarine the movie, so they turned
Right.
it into a Finding Nemo
Well,
ride.
Pirates did really well for them. I believe they're making another one.
Yes.
So,
Oh God, really?
Yes.
Let's all
So
take a
it's-
moment of silence for the hearts that just broke in our hearts.
Yeah.
Our hearts specifically, not our actual.
either way, I like the movie as kind of a standalone, not expecting anything, not knowing anything. I know it's gotten some pretty shitty reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. And again, take your kid to it, man. They're gonna love the visuals, and it's heavy-handed enough for children who are usually distracted to kind of get the gist of it. So it's not absolutely terrible.
Yes, I will take my child, little Jimmy. Hello! It's the best I got.
Wait. Hold
Okay.
on, Devin. That's really bad. That's incest, dude.
Nice. No, that's this one.
Devin was making hand puppets with his Masterbury hand. If anybody is listening on the iTunes, but yeah. So I saw the movie. I'm not even gonna give it a rating system. It's I don't know.
so good. He's not going to rate it.
It's not worth rating, man. Like I said, it was a really long commercial for environmentalists and Disney World. All right,
Fair
that's
enough.
all I got today.
Okay. So more comic stuff, or was that all the comic stuff we had?
No, I didn't even touch the comics.
Yeah.
There was some comic stuff was brought
drunk?
up.
You're
Dude,
drunk.
tell us about the comic stuff. I want to hear about the comic stuff, dude. Comic stuff, bro.
Well, now you just sound like you're mocking me.
He's totally mocking you.
I mock everybody all the time. You guys should know this by now.
So I finally checked out. Well, we were talking to a couple people in the chat not too long ago about rereading The Walking Dead. So I finally finished rereading The Walking Dead, and just like as a next bit to that, if you can't have your heart broken, don't read The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Because that's just going to happen.
Wait, if
over.
you can't have it, or if you don't want to have your heart broken.
Oh, if you can't have it broken, don't do it. If you don't want to, I don't care about
So
your feelings.
anybody with a pacemaker, do not read The Walking Dead.
That's right. It'll kill you.
Well, no, it's important because, like, if you say you can't, do you mean, like, it can't happen or you die? Or, like, physically you can't have it happen? Like, because if your heart's unbreakable, can't you know?
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, so I made it further. When I stopped reading the first time, books were still coming out. I had just kind of fallen away from the series and started reading other things. So after revisiting, I made it further than I did the first time, and I'm actually current with the trade paperbacks right now. And I've actually, first of all, the writers have done great at really growing their characters and growing their world to fit around everything. And even the tone of the books kind of force you to feel how the characters are feeling, because at first when a character would die, it would be a big thing and everybody was sad and there'd be a thing, and after a while they're just like, oh, here's Billy and he's in the middle of it, nope, he's dead. Oh, look, and here's Johnny, now Johnny, nope, he's dead too. And it just moves along, and even you just kind of start going with like, yeah, you can't really get attached to characters, they're just gonna die. So at first it's this big emotional thing, and by the end of it you're just as emotionally drained as everybody else is, and you're like, yeah, he did.
Tell
By
that
the
to
way,
the Game of
Devin.
Thrones people.
No, worse. Because Game of Thrones still...
Worse because the Game of Thrones characters, most of them are side characters.
Well, and not even that. Game of Thrones characters, even for a side character, most of the time, they still give you a chance, and people bring them up and remember them. No. Towards the end of this... I can't say end, because it's not over, but towards getting current with this series, they just die, and people go like... Yeah, that's really sad. And then events just move on. They're like, it used to be 5 to 10 pages of people still dealing with it. Now it's maybe a page and a half.
So, I mean, I do have to say one thing, Devin. You are going to pick that shit up eventually. So you've made some work for yourself.
Pick what up?
The stuff you threw.
Eh.
I just wanted to make sure you...
One of them, the door will sweep up, so that'll be fine.
You know, I like how we were having a moment there. Walking Dead sad, and the tragedy. People get desensitized.
Well, but
That thing you did off camera, yeah, that.
Well,
With
let's
saying-
be fair. I'm a robot. I don't have a heart.
With saying, like, oh, it's really sad, but honestly, I mean,
okay.
it's really a testament to the writers to force the reader to feel how the character feels. You know what I mean? Because, again, they're doing the same thing you are. You feel that way because they're no longer mourning. They're kind of over it, too. Like, yeah, folks are gonna die. That really sucks.
You just kind of get used to that idea, and you get yourself in this spot where it's a thing. It happens. Okay.
Exactly. Like, you
That's
just move
bad,
on quicker.
okay.
So,
I definitely want to check more of that out. I need to read more of it.
yeah, we'll probably keep pimping off different Walking Dead stuff because we're fans of it in different mediums throughout this. So, but
Like,
here's
all of
just
the
another.
mediums, really.
Well, I mean, film, game, comic.
Well, right. But what I was saying is that they're all good.
Oh yeah. But either way, so yeah, that's just me pimping off the comic again. And then I actually tried out 2 new series just the other day. So I tried out Deadly Class, which I believe is done by Image, but let me fact check myself before I go and run my mouth and fucking ruin
Before you
everything.
wreck yourself.
So
That makes sense.
yes, it is by Image. Deadly Class is kind of, think of like this trope that's happening in film and writing now, where a person finds out they're part of something bigger and joins a school to train them in that.
That's been a trope.
Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, there's a million of these fucking things, but you know, they find out they're part of the thing, and it's actually a bigger thing, and they go to school for it. So this is kind of like that. A young homeless kid, at least as far as I know, the series is a lot further in than I've read. I just started it out.
And punches people in the dick?
No, but he is invited into a school for assassins. So the top gang leaders in the world, the top hitmen, the top whoever, send their kids to this school to learn to become the best assassins in the world. So he kind of gets brought into that. But honestly, that's where the similarities between this genre and other things like it end. There's actually not much focus at all, at least throughout the first trade, and this may change as I read the series, but throughout the whole first trade, there's very little of what he's doing at school. This is mostly so far about him just trying to get along with the other characters and kind of going off on some adventures. Like at one point, this is like minorly plot spoily, but not things that happen spoily. There's a point where him and a bunch of characters ditch out of school and go to Vegas to murder one of the characters' parents. He hates him, and he's like, we're going to assassinate this piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. It falls within the curriculum of what we're allowed to do at school. We're going to go murder this guy. But on the way there, and it takes place in the past. The whole series takes place in the past. I believe Reagan is still president, and that's the main character's goal, kill Reagan. But they stop off at a Grateful Dead concert and pick up a bunch of acid. So,
as one tends to do.
The next chunk of comic is just about the character trying to function after taking, he thinks it's bunk, so he takes the whole sheet.
Jesus.
Oh.
So it's something like 15 to 20 doses of what is apparently really, really strong acid.
So he survives?
He survives, but he's really... he actually goes through a fight and stuff on it. But again, it's not an assassination fight. It's a plot between all the kids and this one dad, and that's really short. And I don't know whether to love it for this or hate it for that. Because I came into it thinking oh cool, it's like Harry Potter but set in the Kick-Ass world, This kid finds out he's an assassin, but it's not like comic movie assassins. They're not super-powered people. They're just kids of gangbangers and thugs who murder people really well. And I was really looking forward to some really cool combat and this kid learning how to be stealthy and assassin-like. And it's really not about that. It's more of a coming of age as an assassin story.
Okay.
And again,
I
don't
feel like that's a good thing, or
I like that it's different. I like that it's doing something different, and what it's doing isn't bad. I think I'm just kind of hurt because it was not my expectation.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to keep reading the series, and what I was telling my girlfriend actually is I'm going to give it one more book, and if it doesn't resonate a little better after another one, I probably won't continue it. But I liked it enough to definitely pick up another one and give it another try. And then the second one that I got was Nailbiter, which is...
I think you mentioned this one on stream before, didn't you?
I might have, and let me see who does it. I think it's Image again, because I normally end up reading Image stuff.
Yeah, you do.
Well, can I say Yep, it's Image again, because Image is the only comic company producing comics that are worth fucking reading nowadays. Fuck you, Marvel and DC.
I don't know. IDW's got some good stuff.
Actually, well, yeah, no, there's actually a few that do. I love Oni Press. I have Oni Press work tattooed on my leg, so...
Yes, you do.
Small aside really quick. Did you guys hear what's happening at the end of DC Convergence?
No.
Oh, God.
So DC made this big, arc that they're doing where all of these universes are being forced to battle to be the prime universe, and that's the only universe that gets to survive. And it was like, oh cool, we're finally ending all this multiverse stuff, it's just gonna be one universe, done. Well, at the end of Convergence, nope, all the universes get restored to their previous glory, and a couple of them evolve and become different, so that we can have more running arcs about Superman, just Superman from different universes.
Does anyone even care anymore?
I'm so done with that stupid character. He's
Not necessarily just Superman, but that's what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, but
anyways,
let's be fair. What it's for is so they can have multiple Supermans and multiple Batmans. Let's just get honest here. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you read this other thing, Nailbiter.
So, Nailbiter.
Let's talk about that.
Nailbiter is kind of fantastic.
Only kind of fantastic?
It's mildly fantastic. But that's only off of one trade paperback. But that's off of one trade paperback, man. There's room for extra fantastique.
Yeah, but see, you okay. Well,
I'm saying it's got room to grow into more fantastic.
More fantastical.
Nailbiter is about a city that has, for whatever reason, consistently produced serial killers. There have been 16 serial killers who've been born out of this town. The most recent and most famous, the one who kind of brought light to the whole thing, is a serial killer they called the Nailbiter, who basically used to watch for people who chewed their nails. he would kidnap them, wait till their nails grew back, and chew off their fingers. And then murder them once their fingers were gone and he couldn't chew on them anymore. He ends up getting acquitted. The jury's just moronic, and for whatever reason, they flub the call and they let the guy go. Even though they found him and photographed him with dead bodies and him chewing on their fingers, they let the guy go.
Okay.
So then all this light starts coming out about, dude, there have been serial killers in this town for years. You know, like, this is a thing. This town produces serial killers. So this guy starts investigating it, calls his friend, and he's like, oh my god, dude, I think I figured this shit out. I need you down here, okay? So the guy comes down there, and his friend's gone by the time he gets to town. The guy in a couple of days, he's gone.
Okay.
So throughout the comic, we find out that this guy who's now in town, our main character, who's working with the chief of police, our other main character, is military intelligence and actually supposed to be standing trial for murder himself. But he's helping out to find his friend and now solve this case because he knows his friend has sort of found some shit out. And once he shows back up in town, a couple of the dead serial killers mysteriously show back up and start killing.
Okay. So, I just want to point this out. My brain has created this visual of this town as literally a place where Part A and Part B are put together with Part C to make serial killers. Like, it's literally a factory that's putting these creatures together. Like, that is what's going in my head right now, and it sounds a great thing.
I'm trying not to get spoilery on this, but here's what I will say is, I'm mentioning that past serial killers are coming back, and it's a town that makes serial killers. So far, there is no mysticism in this comic, no supernatural, no anything. And from what they're alluding to at certain parts, and again, I'm trying not to be spoilery, they're giving one of the running ideas is that you may actually not be incorrect.
I kind of hope that's the thing. Like, they walk into a building, and it's like a conveyor belt where torsos are getting legs, and like, it's, you know... Yeah. I have a fucked up brain. Fuck you all.
But it's a really fun comic. A lot of really complex characters. I really like the sheriff, the other main character in this, actually dated Nailbiter back in high school. And now that she's sheriff and he's living in town, she's doing her job to protect people from just lynching the guy. And of course everybody in town goes, "You're sticking up for your boyfriend, you crazy bitch." So it's really crafted some interesting connections between all of the people who've been involved so far. It's a really good series, and I'm really looking forward to picking up more of it. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, when the first volume comes out, maybe I'll pick that up and check it out. I'm just not a fan of single issues, so...
No, that's... I only read trade paperbacks, dude. That's trade.
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm a mistaken brain. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out when I next see you, then.
And then next time, hopefully I'll finish it by then. But I am busy all this week and next week, but... We just picked up the first trade of Kick-Ass, because I've never actually sat down and read Kick-Ass, and I'm told it's rather different than the movies, so I'm looking forward to that.
I'll check that one out, too. But, you know.
But,
anyways, anything else, man?
Well, comic movie news, there was a couple of set leaks, some video of the Batmobile driving downtown for Suicide Squad, not for Batman vs. Superman. Jared Leto still has stupid face tattoos, so apparently they're still not sure whether he's going to have tattoos in this movie or not.
That one. I'm just like, just fucking make a call.
Yep, just do it or don't. Make him a cholo or don't. I don't care.
Yeah, just pick one, stick with it, and be happy.
We mentioned League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That was some more comic movie news. No, I think that's about all that came out. Still not looking forward to Suicide Squad. Oh, well, there's apparently a bunch of people who are upset that the color of the Thing's eyes are incorrect in the new Fantastic Four movie. Not just because it's arbitrary, he has one catchphrase that involves mentioning the color of his eyes.
I'm sorry, but isn't everything about that movie different?
Well, yeah.
You know, I don't think that's the
I mean, I want to make sure.
But to be fair, even though I think that's a stupid argument and it couldn't matter less, sure it ruins one catchphrase, go fuck yourself, the movie's still going to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, because nothing's the same. That's why
it looks fucking terrible.
Right. Alright, well, does that mean it's about time that I sit on the corner and show people my wares?
Shill, you monkey whore.
Alright, so, again, for all you guys who've been watching, please follow us in all the various places you can, or, send us emails and stuff. And the ways you can do that, we have a website. 5dpodcast.com. We also have an email.
That wasn't a D.
5D at 5dpodcast.com. We're on Facebook as facebook.com/in5dpodcast. YouTube is 5D Podcast. Twitch as 5D Podcast, where you can see this live at the time of Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We also have a Twitter, which is 5D_podcast. I am Steven, also known as Figbird4885 on the Twitters. And although he hasn't been around, I do like to mention him still. Tyler is Cosplay Fiend.
He's dead to us!
Well, we'll see. Someone have to hit him up soon and be like, hey, that convention is done. Maybe you want to come back. But nonetheless, I do also want to mention that for not this week, but next week, we're going to be starting up a really cool project that I've been spending a lot of time jumping around people's or whatever. It's a D&D game where we're going to be using a software called Tabletop Simulator, as long with the
Say the name. Say the name.
It's called 5D&D.
Yes, it is.
And it's the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which is even funnier. There's a lot of 5s here. It's going to be starting.
We were born for this.
We were born for this. We're going to be doing it next week. Hopefully, it'll be a weekly thing. I mean, it depends on, of course, the GM we got, but it's going to be literally. We have the game will be digitally simulated in a lot of ways, but it'll all be like actual pen and paper, but over the internet.
Sex will not be digitally simulated.
Well, that's just going to be a video I put on screen. I mean, what? Nonetheless, that will be starting next week, so please, if you're interested at all, tune in. It will be actually hosted, at least for the start, on the Metagame Network stream. But once we start kind of getting some more group peoples and stuff, we'll probably switch it around a little bit and have it switch between the two of them. Either way, follow either this stream or the other one, so Metagame Network or 5D Podcast on Twitch if you want to see that.
And that'll be Thursdays.
Thursdays.
I have not decided the easiest way to get that onto YouTube, but we will probably figure out a way to do so. But for now, it is what it is.
But for.
Hooping silly. With that, do you guys have any closing notes?
But for.
My closing note's a D minor.
Ooh.
Mine would have to be a.
Alright, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in. See you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Adios.